Welcome back, pals. Patreon bonuses continue with another episode of Recut Gems here on the Black Print Network. Plus, between the both of us, I gotta say, of course, introductions, MC, A+ here, episode 2, Recut Gems. Between the both of us, plus, I gotta say, we're taking back just a little bit, just a little glimpse from the reception of our return.
Oh, the love was felt, man. Shout out to everybody who hit us up, via social media, saying, hey, man, we waited 671 days with you, and that means something. Maybe you didn't think about us every day, but you waited it out, man. We appreciate that.
Know what I'm saying? It's all about the thought. Shout out to all the patrons turning us up for the debut. Shout out to the new element of our show, of course, the tubers. Everybody will be able to experience that online, although you will see it a little bit earlier on Patreon. So make sure that you do tap in with us as an included Patreon bonus before it ends up public for everybody to enjoy. I gotta say, though, if all this was new to you last week, if you are new to the Black Print in general, of course, last week was very, very huge for the Black Print podcast, just based on our growth. I think the most exciting thing throughout all of this on YouTube has been how we have been growing. But if you are new, allow us to introduce ourselves formally. If this is a brand new show here to you, producer on the Black Print Network here, MC, my man MC. I know the second N fucks a lot of people up. We're working on it gradually. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do about that second N. It definitely has a mind of its own, so I completely understand. You can say most hated MC if you want, but that's mostly when we're talking about the most hated Miami Heat, and that's not why we're here today, I gotta say.
And of course, I'm A+. I'm an operations manager at Radio 1 Cleveland, overseeing the programming of such stations as Z1079 and 93.1 WZAK here in Cleveland. You can stream them everywhere on any TuneIn radio or on the station apps, plug. But yeah, you can follow me on all social media as well at A_PLUS and, RNC charter member.
The biggest out in Cleveland, Ohio, out of the 216. You know what I'm saying? I would do the man out in Cleveland if my Heenan was a little better. I would do my Heenan.
Man, that's funny.
I can't do a Heenan. My wrestling voices, my wrestling terminologies have been a little bit less than they have been before, but I am getting a little bit better at my, if I were to describe how episode 1 of Recut Gems went, I could say that it was stupendous, tremendous.
I'm trying to workshop a Oakland, man. I'd love to get like a Gene Oakland in my repertoire, man.
A Mean Gene?
Yes, man. But it would be like, shade room like gossip instead of
shade room Mean Gene.
Fans, you've also heard about Carisha premiering in BMF latest episode. Find out the outtakes and the links to them right now. Numbers are at the bottom of your screen. I can't do Oakland. I gotta get the Oakland going, man.
The only thing I default to in Mean Gene is look at all this crap in this ring. This is what for the likes of you when you're dealing with the likes of Hall. And now, what did he say? He didn't even say Hall and Nash. He was like, with the likes of these men.
Yeah, right. These men, right. This is what he tells them to stick it.
As far as I'm concerned, this crap in this ring represents these people out here, brother. I don't think we got a rap variant of that yet.
Nah, no, we haven't. We have the basketball. We have the basketball variant. Speaking of,
yes,
we have the basketball variant, but no, we don't have the hip hop variant. Not that I can think of. What would equivalent be like? I don't know, man.
As far as trash flying, as far as like face turning heel immediately and trash flying and just all this crap in this ring,
Drake's on the Donda. I don't know, man. What is? Nah, that's not even it, man. That's not it. Yeah, I don't
maybe it's yet to be seen. Maybe it's yet to be seen. Yeah, that could be for a good reason.
Right. Because I don't know the betrayal. We can't take it, man. We take everything a little too serious in hip hop these days, man.
Is it true? Well, yeah. I don't think there's too many people. Like it's kind of like tongue in cheek a little bit, like the Busta Rhymes type videos. You got to kind of like convince the artist at this point in time to be like, look, people will think it's hilarious. It'll live amazing 20 years from now. It might look a little bit silly now, and you might just have Baby go like, hey, I ain't doing all that shit. You want me to put on a Superman suit? I ain't gonna.
I mean, you trying to have me do the same shit Yachty doing. I ain't do what Yachty doing. Like you sure you got the right man? Like that's your Yachty answer. Yachty, come on.
Yachty's Yachty's on the you know what I'm saying, is hashtag real artist lane as of right now. So I don't know what you're gonna get from Yachty.
Right. That's right, man. He is fed up with the people that said, that's hating on him now. The same people that said he couldn't rap back in the day. He is tired of haters when he's just trying to do hashtag art.
I mean, I've heard him specifically say, "I don't eat fruit, so my nut tastes like sweet heat." I think at that point, I just checked out.
Yeah, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you I ever took Yachty seriously. I never hated on him. I was like, Lil Yachty's ruining the biz, and took an Iced Tea Soulja Boy take. But
no,
I never took it that far. But not here to say that Yachty's my favorite. I did listen to the Michigan Boy Boat album. That's probably the most I ever listened to a Lil Yachty album.
Mm-hmm.
But have I gone back to it in eons? No, I have not. Sorry.
I don't think we'll ever. Knock on wood, if I can find some wood here, I don't think we'll ever be Ice-T Soulja Boy levels. No artist has pissed me off at that stature yet. I just hope I'm not listening at that point. If I'm that infuriated, I'm stuck with my oldies at that point. You'll be Kiss FM Plus at that point? At that point, yeah. I mean, Kiss FM is gonna probably be like Drip Too Hard, hopefully, at that point. Like, Kiss FM played Drip Too Hard? Like Kiss FM. Shout out Whole Blue City, you know what I'm saying? The Hope up here. Can you imagine? Playing nothing but the throwbacks. Can you imagine? The biggest announcement this time, you want it. That is amazing, man. I mean, hey, I'm not trying to speed anything up. I'm not. I take its time because it's already happening a little too fast. I know, exactly. We're not trying to. The only thing we're trying to think of right now is the end of the month. Like, we are just trying to get to WrestleMania, enjoy our weekend, somehow find a way to get downstate into the Hall of Fame. I don't know how we're going to be able to do that, but we did get a little bit of Hall of Fame news. Oh, we did. We do have Rey Mysterio now making his way over to the Hall of Fame. I would expect, because we haven't really set up our SmackDown Hall of Fame tickets as of yet, I would expect that to do a little bit of a spike, especially if we want to see the man Conan there to introduce him. And in Southern California too, of course, being repping San Diego. That definitely probably spiked the ticket sales just now too, for sure. So we probably got to get on it if we want to go, because it's putting Ray on top at the top. I mean, there was reports about Great Muta being one of the first inductees for this year, which would probably be after, but you have to go with a big name first, I think, and Ray is definitely worthy of that stature. So congratulations to Ray once again. I don't know though. Do you think this is setting up a retirement angle in a match, with Dominic? If Dom retires his dad, that is definitely it's a little bit of like the cutting onions, but I do here's my thing, man. I think even through music, I think even through wrestling, a lot of avenues in my life, I love the person with the charisma, even if you're not the big statistics, standards, lyrical miracle, right, any other type of terminology you could use for that type of thing. If your stats ain't right, as long as you've got a form of charisma, I am on board. And Dominic knows how to piss people the fuck off. I just completely love that. So if I can get that versus Rey Mysterio, and it's Rey's last WrestleMania match, that's going to be one of the top matches that we see on Sunday or Saturday, whichever one of those two it ends up being. Right. I mean, I think either way, like you said, it's going to be a hot match. The crowd's going to be on fire because Dominic is just instant heat at this point. He just knows how to work a crowd. And that's honestly a skill that needs to be developed by more talent in the industry. But that's another story. Exactly. Although this is, our third weekend, my third weekend specifically out for WrestleMania in Los Angeles. This is the closest I've ever been, honestly, to doing the entire weekend experience. You got to do a little Blueprint 2J, let's do it right this time. You know what I'm saying? No, right. This will be my third Mania, and I'm like, wow. Damn, I definitely want to make sure I go to more events surrounding WrestleMania weekend. So should be interesting. It definitely should be interesting. I mean, I heard they're doing something different with Access. So I don't know. How they doing Access different? I don't know, because they're doing autograph signing separate, and that's typically, I guess, a part of Fan Access. But they did say they were they were remodeling or rehabbing the Access experience for the weekend. So I don't know how they're gonna do a superstore or what. Not sure. Okay, because last year was I didn't get to do Access when I went out there in WrestleMania. So Dallas was actually my first time being able to do an Access, and that was actually pretty fun. So if we saw the last portion of literally the last Vince McMahon Mania, first and foremost, but also the last port of access before they end up, hyping it up and making it nice. I'm down for that. I'm down for our O Behave era of WrestleMania in the next month. Are we on our O Behave shit?
O Behave. He got their mojo back for sure, man.
O Behave. Wally Mania is going to be O Behave. Access. I don't know how I'm going to be O Behave at Access. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, see, I also that I forgot about the I don't want to do that. I mean, I'm no disrespect. Don't get me wrong, no disrespect. I don't want to do the one dead man show. I just don't know if that's a stand up and listen to him talk for like an hour straight or 2 hours. Like,
whew, the live pods, yeah,
man. I'm like, I don't know. I'll wait for it to hit the network.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure they'll end up being recorded for audio, and I'm sure they're gonna have like crazy, amazing mics to be able to do all of that. Because doing all that in a public setting always interests me on how they're actually able to pull it off. But speaking of networks, our turn featured back a bit of what to expect from us on these bonus shows. So please make sure to tap into the Patreon. Enjoy Recut Gems early between A+ and I, on top of the debut of something that is very exciting between us, J5, Josh Pease, myself, A+ as well. Our second Black Print bonus show. That will be on the way later this week. The debut of Throwblacks, including a new Black Print Radio live on AM. So it's a busy week ahead for us on the Black Print channel. It's something that's pretty exciting, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Speaking of busy weeks, there's a lot of revisiting ahead, though, for the 90s rap fan. As we just talked about, plus his Kiss FM era. I was looking over a little bit of my... Not, you said not yet?
Coming hopefully not soon, I said.
Coming hopefully not soon. But there is a lot of revisiting ahead for the 90s rap fan. I would say it's a mixture of emotion in the air. For most fans that have been patiently waiting for the two catalogs that we're going to be discussing on Recut Gems today, I'd say it's a lot more about damn time between the both of us in the ways that one of these catalogs have returned, I will say. But I won't be green. I have what I want. We've clearly won here. I'm okay. We don't have to talk about how NFT plans have flopped. We don't have to talk about...
What's that?
Yeah, I mean, I understand. If y'all don't want to talk about it, I don't want to talk about it. You know what I'm saying? I'm good. I know it was bad. I don't think I've taken like one, but it's not really an NFT L. It's like stupid fucking AMC thing, man. That AMC shit that got hot.
Oh, the stock. And it was
yeah, they got me. I put a smooth little 100 on it, and at first it was up. I was like up 700, and I was like, nah, let's let this bitch sizzle into the thousands, baby. And you know what? I'm sitting here with like a $5 stock now, and it wasn't that nice. I don't know if you jumped into any of these plus.
Yeah, I think it was a GameStop or maybe AMC. I think I got both of those. I didn't do nothing. I just jobbed out to both of them. Now, like I'm jobbing out FanDuel. You know what I'm saying? It's pretty bad. I'm actually have a FanDuel for like the last month. And trying to do
FanDuel?
After the Super Bowl. Yeah, they just legalized sports betting in Ohio, right? So as soon as that happens, they give you like 200 in free bets off top. And then you're in. So I had to just stop doing it. And I said I had to call the hotline, like, take me off, ban me. I just like, all right, man, just stop betting. Stop making these like ridiculous 15-leg parlays that are not going to come home.
I can't do any of those because we're in Florida. So we can only do Prize Picks, which Prize Picks is like, okay, the line tonight is LeBron James is going to score 27 points. Do you think he's going to go higher? You think he's going to go lower? And it's literally just high-lows. That's all that we have. That's legal. That's legal betting out in Florida. But who knows? Maybe we'll be able to get into a little hashtag ad bag once gambling is a little bit more legal in Florida.
Yeah, man. DeSantis, smarten up, DeSantis. What are you doing?
Hey, man. He's got a whole lot ahead of him and a lot of answers that he has to account for. So he's going to be just as busy as some of these catalogs that are also returning. But golf claps, gotta give it. Not necessarily I told this person. I've never spoken to this person before, but I was going to be pretty happy and applaud once he got over his NFT aspirations and put these albums back. So golf claps are in order. Snoop Dogg, Death Row Records. All of the albums that have been missing and have flared my OCD are now back on streaming. So I am very happy for my library now looking a whole lot better than it did before. But just because there's a large amount of albums that were removed, now put back, and also new albums that have never touched streaming, at least on Apple Music. I usually don't see them on Spotify either, but at least on Apple Music, there are also brand new albums that have made it back to streaming. Have you checked any of them out? Plus, you went back to the Death Row catalog. So
I saw Murder Was the Case soundtrack was up. Was that like a new addition to streaming? That wasn't up at first, right?
Brand new.
That's amazing. Above the Rim is back up there, right?
Yes. So Pain is back. I can finally listen to Pain again. Thank God.
Dog Food is up. Dog Food was like really monumental. Like growing up, my uncle had all those CDs, and didn't have that on my own, but Dog Food was a big deal. Not gonna lie, it was a big album.
He was cheering when Snoop kicked down the towers. Like, yeah.
You see, we were in Richmond, Virginia, right? So we're like in the middle of the map. There's people that love Biggie. I'd even venture to say it was a Pac town, so to speak. But people loved both, man. So it was tough to play like the region wars in that part of the country, I guess.
I wonder what's like the low-key Pac towns. Like, you know how Flair, they always say the Carolinas are Flair country, but then if you go further south too and going like into Texas, you're still kind of technically in Flair country. I wonder what's like the low-key Pac towns.
I mean, I'm not gonna say just low-key, but high-key, I mean easily the Midwest and the South.
Yeah?
You know, the Midwest and the South for sure. I mean, outside of people would think the West Coast, but Midwest and the South, it's firmly Pac country, you know. I'm just venture to say I don't even have the math here, but you know, you got spots. I mean, and that's not to say these places were anti-Big, because Big was loved in Detroit. You know, Big picked up a lot of style from Detroit with the Coogee sweaters and whatnot, and Chicago too. You know what I mean? So there's just some places like that, which is like it's just too big of a city to be like one way dominant. But I'm sure, you know, Pac had a if you know like who had the percentages, like who had the more, you know, the dominant percentage, I'd probably say Pac.
And that's actually a very, very good point. As we talked about last episode about like city classics, I'll never ever forget when I used to actually have a little hashtag hustle going on where I'll be making CDs for everybody that was in high school. I'll always remember there was one guy that lived in my neighborhood and would always give me there was a time that I was coming home with like at least like 10 crumpled up lists of just things people made and was like, hey, burn this to a disc for me. Obviously, I get the bread, so on and so forth. That was nice. It was a decent little hustle. But I'll never forget, he would always have Master P Records, not Mystical Records, Master P Records, Project Pat Records. There'd be some 3-6 records. I'm like, yo, I typed it into Kazaa. I typed it into BearShare. I can't. Did you make this one up? What is Pimpin' and Robbin', bro? You never heard Pimpin' and Robbin' from 1993? You don't remember as they went Pimpin' and Robbin', Pimpin' and Robbin'. I'm like, you really think I noticed? You really think I noticed? I've been in Florida for like 3 years, bro. You really think I noticed? Honestly speaking. But he would also always have Pac on there. So that actually is a very good point. The South, at least West Palm in general, definitely did like a lot of Pac, and that was not to shit on Big. It's not like they would be praising Pac just to be able to say that Big wasn't nice,
right?
But he was always that preference. Death Row in an essence, I think ends up feeling that way for a lot of people as well. Obviously, they'll have the West Coast on lock, but then, you know, with the inclusion of Snoop into No Limit, then that also brings him a South experience, a South fan base, I guess you would say. So those have ended up, you know, those never got pulled. Thankfully, we can now enjoy Doggy Style back. We can enjoy Dog Food that's back, and Above the Rim, and plenty other albums from the Death Row catalog that you might have wanted to tap in that are now available. But like we said, we also get the debut of things like Christmas on Death Row, an album that has been talked about on Black Print Radio between Josh's favorite holiday album. It's not an album that I've ever heard, honestly.
I haven't heard it either, but that I'm sure contains Santa Claus Goes Straight to the Ghetto, right?
Yes, that does.
All right, well, I know that song for sure. That's a Rap City classic. So
a Rap City classic.
And
then, of course, Murder Was the Case soundtrack. I mean, you and I both know as soon as you hear that. Yeah, you already know what's happening. Just run.
Just run. But yo, I'm gonna tell you this right now, dog. The Murder Was the Case soundtrack commercial, terrifying.
Really? Frightening?
frightening. Okay, like it ended with the look of either him or like the devil dude in the video in the coffin, and it just like ends with like him turning his head to the camera like this.
Oh nah,
it just goes off, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's like a weird turn, 90-degree turn for those listening. Just if you could look it up, please look it up.
If we could look up the commercial, we will be able to. But then again, it's like I think those types of things were just like so much more. Like a lot of people weren't really thinking, yeah, we're just gonna frighten the kids 20 years from now, and it's just gonna be like a memory that they'll never ever forget. In those types of cases, but the Murder Was the Case soundtrack, it ends up being very beneficial because NFTs ended up infiltrating the music business crazy last year. Some guy hit with the Swindini. Snoop, I'm hoping that it wasn't you. But honestly, I feel like monetizing music is going to be like a strong topic in the industry for years to come. It's kind of controversial. From our perspective, it's like, okay, it feels like a moment to celebrate. Like we can jump into any of the albums that we want to and just have the comfort of jumping into any album that we want to without having to go through our mediums that we have learned as kids to quote unquote obtain the things that we need to. My opinion, I could be completely wrong here. By all means. If there are generations that are completely comfortable with doing this, by all means, correct me. But there's less probability, I would say, that a new generation of music listeners will go through the ranks of like searching for a lot of these albums if they don't have to. Like if Doggy Style is now back, now you can tap into Gin and Juice, now you can tap into Doggy Dog World, The Shiznit, Who Am I, What's My Name, and unless you really really want to fucking listen to it and find your old copy to upload it or play it through YouTube, I just think most people will just like not play it. Maybe that's just me and how I observe the next generation and just the availability of music, I guess you would say, because it's a tough topic.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just thinking now with the current generation growing up, say if you're from 13, 14 on, say maybe 21, not really going to a record store, and I know that sounds ancient at this point, and physically, purchasing a CD or even through an iTunes store and, digitally buying one album for $13.99. That concept is gonna be lost on that generation. It's like, well, you did what? And like we're paying like what $9 or whatever for like this thousands of songs catalog on streaming. So I think that alone will has already changed the way people digest music. I think we also talk about how albums aren't the same, and that may continue to change as much as the song lengths have just shortened over the last decade or so. So yeah, the relationship with the next generation and music will definitely be different, especially like you said, the less they have to go seek out something that's not, available in their phone, in their app, or whatever we're using in the future is something that's just a luxury. They're not going to go ahead and do that if they don't have to.
Because I tell you right now, I wasn't really thinking of Star Power until it was like, hey, y'all remember Star Power? All right, it's back. 2023, go ahead, stream it. I know y'all want it. And then I heard that Gia, Young Khalifa man.
Young Khalifa man. Young Wizzle.
Rap star, rap legend. They don't want to talk about it though. Then again, I won't say they don't want to talk about it. I hate being they don't want to talk about it guy. Oh my God. There's nothing I hate worse than they don't want to talk about it guy.
They don't want to talk about that though.
Yeah. Y'all ain't ready for that combo. Ain't my whole body. Y'all ain't ready for that combo.
I mean, Wiz is a legend. I think, anybody saying otherwise is going off of, well, what do you mean? I mean, you could be rated like, I'm not saying this is rated in Rap 2K, but you could be like 87 overall your whole career and be a legend. It's not like impossible. It's pretty
a hot 88. If you got the stat, I've dropped niggas off with a 74 overall, and they had bad stats, but the 3 was in like the high 80s. And it had a nice drive and dunk. Some people just got the high 80s 3 and a drive and dunk. That's it.
That's it. And hey, man, once again, you can get inducted into the Rap Hall of Fame or any Hall of Fame if you're 87, 88 overall in the 2K. It's not a bad score at all.
But exactly. The point of that is the availability is what makes things so exciting when things end up coming to streaming. And obviously, Star Power ends up being one of the more talked about albums or projects specifically from Wiz's catalog. And people just get excited when there's more things that are available for people to listen to. There were conversations not even a decade ago that were just like, man, there's so many mixtapes that I wish won Grammys wish won award. If you roll your eyes at Grammys, I just wish they won awards. And obviously, one of the more recent moments of this ended up being really huge when Tyler won a Grammy for Gangsta Grills, but I'm sure there are many other projects that many people would have liked to see from their rap artists. Obviously, rap is a little bit of a difficult category to be able to talk about at the Grammys, but it would be much more of a more grand opportunity to have these projects with the ability to win more awards or win more a lot of the things that they need to. You and we're still waiting for fucking Rich Forever. That's the one I'm waiting on.
Man, please, somebody get that up, because you can't tell the last decade of rap superstars. You can't tell the full story without including that mixtape discography.
Yeah,
like if you were just, going back, how was Lil Wayne considered the best rapper alive? You just went from Carter 2 to Carter 3. You're missing the point. You're missing the point big time. So there's a large chunk of not only time but music in between those albums that you have to digest to really understand the full scope of why we consider Wayne to be one of the greatest.
We just gotta make sure we hit beat Billionaire up. There's a couple things we can't get cleared, but, maybe one day, you know what I'm saying? I got my thing going on here with this AEW. We making sure we all good over here because there's a lot of people that's flaking and perpetrating but scared to kick reality, like a brother Dre once said. And, you know what I'm saying? Maybe one day we'll be able to do that, but until then, make sure you hit that live mixtapes, brother. That's going to be the only place that you can listen to that thing.
I can't wait for the day Ross makes that announcement, though, that, we didn't do all the back channels, all the digital work we need to do on the digital end. And most definitely, I want to make sure this is a very most definitely special announcement. This is the biggest mixtape catalog to ever emerge on the streaming platforms. It's the biggest. It's the album, Stasia EP. It's Ashes to Ashes. It's Rich Forever.
If he put Ashes to Ashes up?
It's the Black Bar Mitzvah. It's
I had to sneak that one on there, family. You know what I'm saying? But it's all available for your pleasure.
Gangs hitting me up.
Had to pay my dues, pay my tithes.
We don't pay no mob gangs.
I'm out here educating the youth on how to flip 40 into 1,000. Y'all niggas ain't doing it.
Ross is if he hasn't already, going to name drop Earn Your Leisure. He's going to do that somehow.
Earn Your Leisure?
Yeah. He's going. I'm telling you, it's going to be an Earn Your Leisure bar in one of these Ross songs that's coming out soon.
But his fan base is going to appreciate not having to go to goddamn Spinrilla to make sure that they listen to Rich Forever. And that's not anything against Spinrilla. By all means, we are very big fans of the preservation of a lot of these projects that just fall by the wayside. I don't know how a lot of these moments, albums, singles, like even mixtape covers at this point in time are just falling by the wayside. But take it from two niggas with 20 plus years of internets experience. If I could have done a better Khaled there. Internets. Nah, that's not a good Khaled.
Internets.
Y'all play too much here on them internets, them blogs, them YouTubes. We don't do that. We all about that love and that family.
And that
we all about that family and that love.
That's right. That's right. Oh, you going in?
Oh, you going in?
Oh, we going in?
So what about this album? Yo, we the best. Yo. I hope
Rhapsody moment, man. I'm sorry, man. That's a classic Rhapsody moment.
And what did 50 say? That's fine. Because he's going to think what he want to think. You know what I'm saying? But take a look at me. Come bring the camera. I'm the best.
I'm the best. That's right.
Listen. Listen.
Buck tried to go inside there, too. He's like, yeah, and I know the program director at 99 Jams. I was like, whoa, big guy. Catalyst spin your record if it's hot. You don't have
what you need to do is pack it up. I know where you live now. You might be from Orlando. I need that drop. I need that sound drop. You might be from Orlando.
That is insane, man. Saying somebody might be from somewhere else where they really it's some of the funniest shit in rap. Like when Ross said Jeezy was from Cleveland. Who knows? I didn't know like where that came from. He never followed up on that. We never got any like inside information as to how he came to that, you know what I'm saying, conclusion.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely not. But we say that to say the adoration of these YouSendIt links and posting up for these group rips might sound sexy on Twitter. I promise you, it sounds sexier on Twitter. What I completely prefer being able to just open up an app and play some damn music. I do not want to go back, and I'm only like 5 years removed from dealing with links. Like it's the actual era of it, I feel like died around 5 years ago, but we don't need to go back. Please. I like the advancements of these types of things. Man. It's just comfortable.
You took me back when YouSendIt, man. YouSendIt had the longest links, like the longest pause, longest fucking link. Then you got what else? SendSpace. SendSpace is still around.
Oh, SendSpace. Wait, SendSpace still around?
SendSpace is still around.
SendSpace is still around. YouSendIt used to have longest links, but the fastest speeds. SendSpace was pretty reliable.
That's a fact. Wow.
The mega upload era was crazy. That was a headlock for a good couple of years.
It just looked fake when I first got to a mega up. I'm like, nah, this is spam. Man, this just looks like spam, but it's actually the link. I was surprised the first time.
There was the zShare era. zShare era was pretty homely.
Man, shout out zShare. They had the player on there too.
Oh, they did it. Yup, the preview player, just in case, New Music Cartel puts up a link and the shit sound bad, just in case it's not a great quality rip, you can make sure you could preview it. Mediafire was a crazy one.
Yes.
These are just eras, man. These are just names.
Remember ShareBeast?
ShareBeast.
I think it was yeah.
I wonder if I was ignoring ShareBeast links. There were some links that I would just ignore.
Yeah.
Damn, I can't remember. There was like really slow ones. zShare used to be slow as fuck.
Yeah, zShare, man. Damn, that was a popular one though.
But as far as discographies, all of the links that we had just named for the past couple of minutes ended up living as zShare and YouSendIt and Mega Upload Classics because honestly, decades had passed and it was looking bleak on how we were going to get this discography onto DSPs for entire new generations of rap fans to enjoy because it's been around. God, I wouldn't even be like since they were able to receive like 5 mics for a lot of their albums. It's been around 30 years or so, but now all generations can enjoy a very important rap discography that's been absent for decades. De La Soul, also something that has been a little bit controversial, but I think I can understand it for the most part because it feels a little bit like a bittersweet victory, and we'll explain we'll explain a little bit in a couple of moments as to why people feel that way or why their discography making it to a DSP is something that it's a little bit tough to celebrate as of right now. But me personally, my experience with De La comes from the most random mediums. Kel dancing to it in Good Burger. What else? NBA Street Volume 3. Those ended up being the two that just immediately come to mind, especially we're talking about Me, Myself, and I, that the one of their bigger records and probably one of the records that end up, writing the story for them trying to write off the vision or the almost like the label, like the asterisk that came onto their artistry after that record ended up coming out. But Chappelle Show, by far one of the best performances in the series as far as Chappelle Show performances outside of the food. I'll put the food up there because once you hear that, you just kind of, you know what I'm saying?
Fire.
Go
ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I'm trying to think of how Common would have even told his producer or whoever it was to be like, nah, I ain't doing that shit again, yo. Just give him that Chappelle performance, man. I'm not doing this shit over with Kanye. He busy.
They love that Chappelle Show performance. Just give him that, yo.
If I call Ye right now, he's good. Look, I'll call Ye right now. Yo, Ye, you want to do this over? What you mean we got to do this shit? Actually, no, I can't do a good Ye. 04, 05 Ye? That's kind of tough. That might be one of my tougher ones.
Man, I don't know. I just had to say fam a lot. Come on, fam.
Come on, fam. I just left the fucking studio, man. We got to do this shit over. Now I got to call John back. You know John busy. John overseas. I'm about to go with him. I can't do this shit over.
That's funny.
But
no, go ahead.
The story of how I ended up the story of how I ended up hearing a lot of these De La Soul albums, specifically, but not necessarily the debut, but definitely De La Soul is Dead, definitely Things with Stakes is High, ended up being a story that I actually do keep in mind a whole lot, or at least that's very close to me. Plus, is that like your first memories of hearing some of De La Soul's projects, and not necessarily the ones that end up being like their top albums or so, but just like in general.
In real time, it had to be Stakes is High. I was like 8 or 9, reading the source, like an avid reader of the source by then. Had to get it when we were in the store, and they had ads for the album, right? And it would just say Stakes is High. Maybe I'm remembering it wrong. It was like a 2-page ad or like a multi-page ad where you flip through and see the next one. But the first one I remember was like a version of the album cover without De La Soul's name on it, and it said Stakes is High. It may have had a Tommy Boy logo centered at the bottom. I'm not sure.
Oh, they don't want that. They don't want to see that these days.
Yeah, I know, right? Tommy Boy got so much diss, like flack from rappers. That's a whole nother episode. But De La Soul music, initially I heard it like in passing, I would say, like on the old school set of like the weekend mix shows that I would religiously listen to on the radio. They would play Me, Myself, and I, of course, and they would play the Buddy remix, which is, pretty much all the native tongues on there going in. It's a classic. But yeah, Stakes is High for sure in real time. I also remember the title track video that used to come on Rap City and other video shows at the time. And The Business with Common, that was another mix show staple in Richmond. Shout out to Mike Street. Play that a lot. So those are like my early interactions with De La. And I mean, the next time is probably when they had the Artificial Intelligence series, the first album dropped, and they had the Ooh video with Redman. That was the single. But I'd be lying if I said I was a big De La fan. Even going back, of course, when like we're talking like 04, 05, 06, when we were just like downloading albums everywhere, Zip and WinRAR, all those type of programs and whatnot. I downloaded all the De La albums, and I probably gravitated toward De La Soul is Dead and maybe much more than 3 Feet High and Rising. But I'd probably say De La Soul is Dead and Stakes is High. One of those two probably most my favorites. I mean, The Grind Date is a different era, so I mean, I like that album too, but I've always been more of a Tribe fan than De La. And that's not them against each other, but that's just just what it is for me.
Yeah, exactly. Like, as we talk about Chappelle Show and that performance, De La Grind Date specifically ended up being, they're performing much more at the Chappelle Show. So Grind Date ended up being one of the ones that I was like more so in real time, like being introduced to. So Shopping Bags is something that's big for me. Much More is big for me. Rock Cocaine Flow is big for me, even though truthfully that belongs to 50 Cent. And that's, it's okay. It's okay. I completely understand. I didn't know that Fat was not a G Unit original until like years down the line. Which I was like, this is a De La record? So that's 2 De La's you stole?
Yeah, that was off the second Artificial Intelligence album. That was the lead single for it. It was like Artificial Intelligence Bionics or whatever, but it was the lead single, Baby Fat. And once again, got mix show play. I don't remember it ever being added to regular rotation because once again, I'm a listener at this point. But 50 took that and just owned it. As he did with many songs around that time.
Especially from that type of group. Because remember, he took Talib and was like, "I'm not Quali," and just completely rapped over it.
But this is the same guy once again. Like he rapped over those type of productions. But even when it came time for his albums, man, there's plenty of high tech production through his albums. So many others. I'm forgetting a few people. I want to say Knots is on his albums, G Unit or a solo. So he messes with real production.
I was like, I need me some of this.
Dog, he was paying. I'm sure they were like, man, it was paying. I had to go fuck with him. But, yeah, man, 50 has a real. I mean, as we know, a keen ear for taking a song, especially the melody that exists, deconstructing it and putting it back together with his own words. Like, there's many people that like. Lil Wayne will black out over an instrumental, right? There's a few instances where he'll like keep the melody or whatnot, but really that's a 50 hallmark where he'll take Baby Fat and make it his own. He'll take Love You Better and make it After My Cheddar. He did this with like so many songs that are classics. Like there's the original maybe classic, but the 50 version is classic too.
I'm sorry, LL. I'm sorry that had to happen. I don't even think that there's like official. I think somebody just made it up like, yeah, LL was pissed. I don't even think there's anything official that was just like, yo, y'all gotta take that shit off, man. Play that Love You Better, man. Y'all doing too much for this After My Cheddar. This man's a jokester, man. And y'all know that. Hot 9, y'all wildin'.
Y'all get him laughing. Like, it's funny to me, man. It's real funny. Oh, man. Nah, I hope
when you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes, man. I'm just trying to tell you that.
I hope El, man. I hope El was like, it's a Queens thing. He wasn't mad, you know.
Nah, when he seen Lloyd Banks down the street with one of these, I was like, all right, it's a Queens thing.
Oh, that's like I'm playing it. Okay, Playboy.
When Yayo was by that stop sign with the, all right, it's a Queens thing.
Yo, they wouldn't do that to Uncle L, man. They would not do that to Uncle L.
Yeah, you can't draw down on Uncle L, man. Not that. But speaking of Uncle L, actually, De La Soul, this key sound of advice that I'm actually going to pass down to our younger listeners of Recut Gems is going to be something that I'm going to actually pass down. I ended up hearing things like LL Cool J's radio, De La Soul is dead. In a moment in time, I feel like there's so many people in 2005 that were just like, yeah, now's the time I'm about to take this music shit serious and really learn and really do my homework. I hope that there's a lot more kids in this generation as well. But then it's kind of tough. I won't really say I hope there's more at this time because it's just a completely different generation. There are no Bibles as of right now. And that's not necessarily to say that's a bad thing because you could really learn about this genre and this music and all the different artists went through so many more different mediums, more than it was 20 years ago when all we had was a couple publications and a couple people that we might have tapped into online because we respected their opinions on whatever forum that it was on their Angel Fire site or whatever, or wherever it was.
You're taking me back with these sites, man.
The Angel Fire sites, I'm telling you, before it was like blogs. Yeah, you had like a couple people, not a lot though. That was the thing about 20 years ago on the internet. There might have been people spewing opinions and it might have been a little bit gas baggy, but it was way less because not everybody could afford that DSL and that goddamn high-speed internet, and the technology was just different. But back then, 2005, it was like, okay, I want to get into this seriously. What do I need to do? And I went to the Game Facts. My only home that I had to be able to talk about these types of things, the Game Facts Rap and Hip Hop Forum. And I was just like, I just put a thread up, man. I was like, hey, what do I need to listen to be able to say that I know this shit? And I wish I knew who it was. I would give them all the props and all the flowers in the world. They were like, yo, here's what you need to do. Listen to all of these albums. Listen to every single 5 mic album from the source. Come back, report your results. And I did it. It was a very long time ago that I did it. It's about a list of like 40 plus albums. De La Soul is Dead ends up being one of them. And I would say that it gave me a very good glimpse as to what was built upon hip hop. I think that's a big topic this year, obviously, as rap turns 50. But I think it's something that also holds up pretty well too. Like it doesn't really feel cheap to tell people, hey, go ahead and listen to these albums. Because you need to, and it's what the big standard is out here in rap. These are generally really good albums that I think a lot of people can still enjoy just to get like a surface level idea if the world of hip hop is new to them. And I don't think you can really do that too many. Like there's not many people telling you to tap in all of Pitchfork's albums that were rated a 10, come back and you'll get a good glimpse of what music really is. Even with the Rolling Stones list, like, yeah, I give Rolling Stone 500 like a good amount of stock and a good amount of praise, I guess you would say. But Rolling Stone 500 even has its blips and its things that you can critique, and they've done that list over like fucking 3-4 times already. But I feel like this is one that actually did stay pretty good towards the test of time. What do you think?
I mean, yeah, I would definitely say that, but it also speaks to your point now about not having it. There's no source. I mean, well, I guess it still exists in principle. Like the XXL, of course, is still there. But as far as a quote unquote authority on record reviews and such, that just doesn't exist anymore. I mean, maybe Complex had it for a while as far as the listicles go, but we don't even have that really in play anymore. So you're right. There's no like authority, and there's still like, Rotten Tomatoes for movies. There's still, I mean, you have to tell me what the equivalent is for games, but I know there's still something for games at this point. There's nothing like that for music that everybody like goes, all right, yeah, I agree with that. Or, at least it, just puts all the scores together and gives you a rough estimate of what it is out there in the industry. And it's nothing like that right now. So yeah, it's going to be tough to tell the story, I guess, of the last 5 to 10 and the next 5 to 10 years of the music and how it's, rated properly, which I have to see.
And from a streaming perspective, I can just see how this is tough for people. Like I read the Pitchfork article on this being a little bit bittersweet, and shout out to Alphonse. Alphonse ended up writing about it. And he talked about moments like this where, it's probably exciting for, new fans to hear albums that they've never heard before from a group that gets a whole lot of respect from the entire rap medium. But it's difficult. Dave is gone. Dave is passed. He has not been able to enjoy the fruits of this labor. It took De La Soul a minute to try and get a lot of these albums onto DSPs, and now I think you had referenced it a little bit earlier. Some of the records might not have the original samples on them. Some of them might be just stripped down just a tiny bit. I haven't really seen too many complaints on that. It would be completely terrible if it was like a moment like we just talked about Wiz, like Wiz phone numbers when the beat was completely changed and the Queen shit was removed. I was like, please God, I never want to hear this version ever again.
Or listen to the streaming version of Never Been.
Oh my God. Those experiences I never want to ever experience again. I just deleted them immediately. I was like, nah, 5 seconds, I'm good. I'll just put back their other ones.
So I know there's somebody from the late 80s that really, grew up in the golden era and like hearing this song like, nah, hold up. This ain't the same. They the same.
Exactly.
Where's the Hall & Oates sample on Say No, bro? It may be there. I'm just saying, for example. You know what I'm saying?
I completely understand that. It's kind of like a catch-22 because if it didn't happen, then we just be like asking for these to still hit DSPs, and we worry about an entire generation missing plenty gems, and it's tough. It's tough. I can completely understand both sides of the area, but from a point of trying to ensure that all of these albums can not only make the money that they do, but also explore many different worlds and many different areas that they might not have in the 90s, where if you missed it, it's kind of like if you missed some shit on TV in the 90s, you better tap in tomorrow or you're going to miss that bitch. If you didn't have De La Soul Is Dead or any of those in the 90s, you're going to have to hit Discogs or get whatever you need to make sure that you get the CD or you get the vinyl or you get the tape. Just like I was with Prince's discography. God bless the dead. God bless the dead. But he was one of the biggest people that was just like, don't put my shit on DSPs until, he got a pretty sweet deal from Tidal. Tidal broke him off, and Tidal was the only place to get Prince albums. He dies. And it's a flood of shit on Apple Music and Spotify.
Right.
It felt a little bit dirty at the time. Completely understand. But I appreciate being able to stream Love Sexy in its complete entirety now without having to deal with that.
It's about access. It's about access. It's about, the easiest way to get this music. That's really what matters to the people going forward. I mean, of course, we kind of, once again, come from that physical era, and we're in that generation that was the bridge from the physical to the digital era. So we don't feel it as much, but somebody who's a decade older than us, I'm sure they lament like, I got my vinyl. I need that. I mean, sure,
exactly.
That's cool, convenient, but still, they don't have the same quality, And I mean, I'm not saying that in a mocking way. It's how people feel.
Exactly. So Death Row, De La Soul, you'll be able to enjoy those discographies within coming time. I'm sure there's going to be plenty other albums and anniversaries that we will be talking about here on Recut Gems that we will be able to discuss again each and every week. No, not each and every week. Every other week here on the Black Print Radio Network. Make sure that you tap in early with it on Patreon if you do want to join the family. And you'll be able to enjoy all of the audio, video, and everything here on YouTube after Patreon has it. We'll be talking plenty about 50 Cent in the coming days, as our debut episode of Throwbacks will be covering his debut album, Get Rich or Die Trying. Be on the lookout for that later this week, along with a new episode of Black Print Radio on AMP with our special guest that will be announced soon. But until then, you will hear from A Plus and I a little bit later at the end of the month. We're going to start going on to our 2-week schedule. So every other 2 weeks, you will hear from us. And that will be around the end of the month where we are going to be getting ready for WrestleMania between A Plus and I. So a lot of exciting things that are on the schedule for us. But thank y'all so much for tuning in. You will hear from us at the end of the month with another new episode of Recut Gems. And until then, he is A+, and I am MC. We will see you at that time. Peace.